Wanted to provide you with a little help on our homework for tonight involving the quadratic formula. And I just chose some random problems here from your assignment. And here's number 10. And I showed you here the quadratic formula that you should be pretty familiar with at this point. So let's just work through this. We're going to find x by doing the opposite of b, which in this case would be positive 2, plus minus the square root of b squared, which negative 2 squared is 4, minus 4 times a, which is 8, times c, which is negative 3. And all of this is going to go over 2 times a, or 2 times 8. Okay, so let's simplify underneath the radical to plus minus. And remember, we always do multiplication before we do subtraction. So if we multiply these three numbers together, 4 times 8 is 32, and 32 times negative 3 is negative 96. So it's like we're subtracting negative 96 from 4. So that's an area where you really have to be careful. Subtracting a negative number is really addition. Okay, so we'll just continue down here. So we have 2 plus minus, and if you notice underneath the radical we have 100, and the square root of 100 is 10, all over 16. Okay, so my solutions for x are really going to come from adding 2 plus 10 and dividing that result by 16. So if you're using your calculator, you might want to just do all of this using parentheses and do all of this at once. 2 plus 10 divided by 16, that's 12 over 16, which is 3/4. And then the other solution is going to be 2 minus 10 divided by 16. And of course 2 minus 10 is negative 8, and negative 8 divided by 16 is negative 1/2. So those are your two solutions for number 10. You should get positive 3/4 and negative 1/2. Alright, let's try another one. This is number 20. This one is not quite set up yet to use the quadratic formula, so I'm just going to move the linear and the constant term over to the left so we can put this in standard form before we begin. And now let's plug in to the quadratic formula, the opposite of b, plus minus the square root of b squared, negative 7 squared is 49, minus 4 times a times c, and then all of this is going to go over 2 times a, and a is 2. Okay, let's start simplifying this. 7 plus minus, and doing the operations in the or underneath the radical. First we multiply, and we get 8. 4 times 2 is 8, times 8 is 64. So we end up with 49 minus 64, and all of that is divided by 4. Okay, and we'll just keep working on this. If you simplify underneath the radical, 49 minus 64 is negative 15 divided by 4. And we need to simplify this square root of a negative number. There are no perfect square root factors of 15, so the only way we can simplify this is by using the number I to make it positive underneath the radical. And as it turns out, that is our final answer, because we can't simplify root 15 anymore. There is no way to reduce this fraction anymore. So our final answers really, because it's plus and minus, is shown there in the circle. All right. When you get down to problems like number 26, this is where if you have a non-perfect square number, we're going to approximate using rounding to the nearest hundredth. So let's take a look at this one. Negative b, the opposite of negative 1 is positive 1, plus minus the square root of b squared. Well, negative 1 squared is 1, minus 4 times a times c. All right, and then all of this is divided by 2 times a, which is 14. Okay, so let's simplify underneath the radical. And once again, we need to multiply these three numbers. And when you multiply 28 times negative 12, you get negative 336. So really, I'll just go ahead and show this so you can see it. Again, this is an area that a lot of people miss. It's like you're subtracting negative 336 from 1. Okay, so just continuing on down here, we have 1 plus minus the square root of 337 all over 14. All right, and now at this point you would want to get your calculator and you need to find out the decimal equivalent rounded to the nearest hundredth. That's 2 decimal places. And I don't have that exact number. I don't have my calculator in front of me, but that should be easy enough for you to do with your calculator. So you're going to be doing 1 plus that decimal, whatever that decimal is, and that divided by 14 should give you one of your answers, which should be 1.38. And then whatever 1 minus that decimal is, divided by 14, should give you your other answer, which is negative 1.24. So those are your two answers, and all you really have to do here is just take your calculator and find out what the square root of 337 is. And I think I've shown you how you can get to your two final answers. All right. So that should take care of number 26. And then number 36, you are finding the discriminant. And remember, we find that by doing b squared minus 4ac, just that part of the quadratic formula. So b squared, negative 2 squared is 4, minus 4 times 6 times 5. And when we simplify this, we get 4 minus 120, and 4 minus 120 is negative 116. So we said of the three scenarios, when our discriminant, that's by the way the answer to the evaluate the discriminant part, since the discriminant is negative, we have no real solutions. We have 2 imaginary solutions. And what that means for us in terms of the graph is the graph does not cross the x-axis at all. And that's the way you should word your I guess the explanation or the interpretation of the discriminant. Okay, I didn't work these out, and maybe you already have a way of finding these answers, but I thought maybe I would just give you a little bit more help on just a select few answers from the homework assignment. And I hope that helps you out, and if you have any questions, just let me know.